Good morning, my faithful, loyal YouTube subscribers. Today it is Sunday. It is about 10 o'clock in the morning. Time is flying. I got up at 7 o'clock this morning. Today it is Sunday. It is January the 6th. The year is 2019. For the record, this is my first video of 2019. I'll explain why later. But this is the first time I had an opportunity to sit down and do this video. I wanted to talk about the situation that's all over the social media about R. Kelly, surviving R. Kelly, the TV show. I've watched the first few episodes of it. I have not seen the last part of the show. So I'm trying to I was going to try to reserve my opinion about this show until after I watched all the episodes. As I watched the episodes, I started looking at situations that took place in my own life. So that's what I'm going to talk about that first before I talk about the situation with R. Kelly. So I'm kind of short and condensed the story, but when I purchased my first home at 23 years of age in 1993, in Stone Mountain, had a swimming pool, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. I proceeded to have, it became a party place. And I had gay friends and straight friends who would love to come out and hang out by the house. Hang at the house because I had a swimming pool. It was just a party place. It was just a place everybody came to grill hot dogs, chicken, fish, ribs. You had a big barbecue pit. We would hang out and have fun every weekend. In the summertime, practically every day. But I noticed something very quickly. Now, remember, please keep in mind, I'm 23 years of age. I grew up in a household, like I said, with my mother and father. I was not used to seeing younger people around adults. And when I moved to Atlanta at 18 years of age, I had a group of friends who warned me to stay away from older individuals for various reasons. That I was told to specifically to stay, only really associate with people who were in my age group, which is what I proceeded to do when I got here to Atlanta for a lot of reasons. And I would hear these horror stories from my friends back then about these. Now, keep this in mind, I didn't start having sexual relationships until I was in my 18, 19 years of age. But a lot of my friends had started having sexual encounters when they were 12, 13, and 14 years of age with older men. And that's why they were saying keep away from these individuals. One of my friends who later on, who died of AIDS, when they all died from AIDS, but he, I didn't know this, but he contracted HIV when he was about 14 or 15 years of age by some older guy. And we never knew this until much later on that he was positive, in that he contracted it from when he was a preteen at 14 or 15 years of age. Now, but back to the parties I would have. I would have these pool parties, and I owned 3 homes that had pools. The house in Stone Mountain, a home in the 044 Ford, and then the house up in Buckhead, 3000 West Roxborough Road. Here, won't look that up. I lived there, and in these houses, I always had pools. I'm not doing any more swimming pools. I'm done with that phase of my life. Too much work, maintenance, and expense, and I never used it. That's how I was having a party or something. But anyway, as I was having these parties and functions, starting in Stone Mountain, I would notice some of my friends who were, some of my associates who were older than me, because it's a party, everybody coming, they were always with these young guys, these young teenagers, but to look like teens to me, and I'd be like, well, who is this? Whose son is this? And sometimes they would try to pretend like, oh, this is my son. I'm thinking, well, you got your son around all these grown adults drinking, and that didn't make sense to me. And one of my friends began whispering in my ear, Walter, you need to be careful because these guys are bringing these young boys to your house. And now I'm thinking, what is going on here? So I start questioning these young boys that would come over there. Some of them look young, some of them didn't look young. And I'll start asking questions. Some of them have beards and everything, facial hair, and you assume that person's of age. We got liquor there. Some people were doing weed. I didn't do weed and stuff like that. We'll talk about the ban that shit later on. Just a lot of stuff going on. You dealing with grown people partying. It's 11, 12. I mean, parties would start at 5 and 6 in the afternoon and run all the way through midnight. Summertime, we out partying, having fun. But I start questioning these young people. I assume we're going to ask questions. Well, where do you live? How old are you? And sometimes they had their stories together, and sometimes they didn't have their stories together. And as I began to realize that years ago, when I was 23 years of age in that house in Stone Mountain, which I stayed out there for a few years, gay and straight, men have an attraction to young people. They have an attraction to younger people for some odd reason. And as I continued to have these parties and functions as I moved on to the Old Fourth Ward and then over to Buckhead, it got worse. And I'm thinking, especially when we got to Buckhead, as best Buckhead was a different animal altogether because I had a bigger home, bigger backyard. I couldn't keep track of everything that was going on there. You got all these people there. And it just reached the point where I had to put my foot down. And started asking for ID and questioning people and telling them to leave my home. In some instances, I took these young folks up to the train station and dropped their asses back off and said, you cannot be at my home. They were over at one guy I'll never forget, a friend of mine, we were at, this was in Stone Mountain. A teenager had came over there and was drinking and stuff, got drunk. And this all happened so suddenly, so quickly that we realized, okay, this boy is not of age. We need to get him out of here. This has happened repeatedly over the years. Older men, both gay and straight, because I've always had straight friends, I've always had gay friends, at all three houses, they would come over with these young girls or young boys, and I'd have to put their asses out. And I'd be like, what is going on here? How old is this person? Why are they with you? And I'm getting some people would question me like, man, why you asking questions? Because this is my home. If something goes down, I'm not going to be the one sitting in handcuffs going to jail. This ain't going to happen over here at this house. Now, in regards to in that R. Kelly thing about people videotaping, back then, those camcorders had really just come out on the market. And I would go to friends' houses and I would see the little tripods and the cameras. I'm like, oh, y'all doing this? And I began to quickly learn that they were recording themselves having sex with all these people. And I was kind of shocked, like, why? But you'd be surprised the amount of people who were recording themselves having sex with underage teenagers. A whole lot of them. Ain't nothing wrong with it. To this day, I have friends who are older than me. I will be 49 on April 9th. Don't forget my birthday is coming up April 9th. I need to set up what do you call that thing where you have a registry? I'm a registrar at one of these stores so I can buy me some gifts. I don't need no more pine cones. I got tons of these all over the house. They smell good too. But I don't need no more of them, so I need some clothes, truth be told. I know y'all want to see me in some nice shirts and stuff like that I can fit. I need to go find a store I can register at for my 49th birthday. But anyway, I have friends who are older than me who still pursue teens who are younger than 18 and 19 years of age. I still see this. But it really reached the pinnacle when I was living in Buckhead. Now, when I bought that house in Buckhead, I was 30 years of age. So I bought that house and purchased that home in 2010. No, I'm sorry, 2001. Right before, a few months before September 11th. Had I known about September 11th, I would have waited. I would have got me a better deal on that house. And Arabs, they let me know they had just let us know about the house until after September 11th. You get a better deal. Oh, thank you for telling me that. I'll wait till after I buy it in October when the prices reach out. I wait till about November because the prices really hit the fall of 2001. You could have got you a mansion in Buckhead for $450,000. That's how low them prices got in 2001 after September 11th. That shit plummeted like a rock. So, another house in Buckhead, a bigger beast, bigger house, bigger yard, bigger pool, bigger everything. And people would sneak in. We have various ways to get in. To get into the yard, you can come through the front door, you can get to the side yard. There were various ways you can get over there. And everybody would run out by the pool and sit in the patio chairs by the pool. And then we had a bar set up by the pool. So a lot of times people would know Walter's, he policing the place because I was looking out. At this point, I know to look out for marijuana. That's not acceptable over the house. My neighbors can smell this weed smoke. We up here in white land. White folks all over the place. They got to get them to go to work the next day. You can't be smelling. They don't want to smell no weed over there in their yards. So we had to tone down that weed and under the ban from my house. Then I had to look out for the crackheads and cokeheads who running around with plates of cokes in my house, sneaking little mirror things around, passing little stuff around like, them Walter hiding it's over. Friends of mine. So I had to go police that. And then I had to look out for the underage teenagers. So I'm running around with my little police hat and badge on. I parked police in the damn house. Who is this? How old are they? Who are you with? Because now I knew to ask questions. Now I'm 30 years of age. There's the difference between being a 30-year man and a 23-year-old kid. Both men, but I'm older and wiser now. I'm not afraid to ask questions. I'm not afraid to say, you need to get the fuck out of here. I'm not afraid to say, show me some ID. You need to show me some proof who you are in your age. Because this was a major problem. This was not a minor issue. This was a major problem that was going on at every party and function that I had. Now, like I said, these are functions that were taking place at my home. This is not a nightclub or, where they have guards and people checking for ID. And occasionally I have friends that will come up and say, don't think that boy is of age. I talked to him and something don't seem right. So I go put on my police hat and go down there and say, who you here with? I go to the person you came with, you need to get this teenager up out of here. Oh, he's 19. Nah, this boy is not 19. He already told me he is 16 years of age. He need to go. What is a 30-something-year-old man doing with a 16-year-old kid? I saw this over and over and over and over and over again. A lot of these teenagers were hopping these men's cars so they had nice cars, BMWs, Mercedes-Benzes, nice vehicles. Or they were giving them clothing, shoes, money, whatever. There's a lot of poverty here in Atlanta. Y'all have to understand, you got a lot of poor. Me and Earl, we drove through some neighborhoods that day looking at some houses over there in the ghetto. There's an area called Grove Park here in Atlanta that's going through gentrification. It's really Buckhead Highway. It's still rough as hell over there, though. But it's... I don't know what to say about that shit, but it's rough over there. It's very rough. And them teenagers, them kids, Now let's talk about R. Kelly. I believe every word those young girls were saying, and I side with those women. They were young. Teenagers don't make the best decisions. And I'll be very honest with you. When that first videotape came out in 1996, 97, it had to be either 96 or 97 about R. Kelly peeing on that girl. And I remember watching that and saying, okay, this is him, this is her. I stopped listening to R. Kelly's music then. I've never downloaded R. Kelly CD. No, the first one I had 12 play when it first came out. That was in the early 90s. That had been about, when did 12 play come out? Because 12 play had to have been 94. It was definitely 93, 94, 95. So I think it was 94. But anyway, when that videotape, when I saw that videotape of R. Kelly in that situation with that young girl, I didn't listen to any more of his music. I stopped. I didn't hear, because I knew, okay, something wrong with this man. You over here peeing on this girl. I didn't listen to any more of his music. And the copy I had was crystal clear. You could see it was clearly him. And I said, okay. Copy somebody else had, I watched it at their house. I didn't buy the copy, but I saw it at somebody else's house. So I realized that then R. Kelly's music was not for me because he was a pedophile. I haven't purchased a CD, record, nothing I have nothing about R. Kelly. On any of his R. Kelly stuff come on the radio, I turn the radio station. And I can honestly say over the past few months, I haven't heard them playing any of R. Kelly's music in Atlanta. I could be wrong. He lived in Atlanta. That's the last episode deals with R. Kelly living in Atlanta and holding these women hostage in these houses, some 2 homes he had here. I haven't heard any of his music on the radio in the past at least a year or so. At least I haven't heard it, but I really don't listen to people on 3 very often either. So, but I stopped listening to R. Kelly's music because I realized what type of person he was. Because I've been dealing with R. Kelly's all my life. Those friends that came to my house and brought them young boys over there, I banned their asses. I stopped dealing with them. I didn't want nothing to do with them because they were idiots. One of my friends picked up a 14 or 15-year-old boy that shot him 3 times, almost died. You think he'd learned his lesson for that? Oh, no. He ended up going to prison for child molestation because he picked up another teenage boy and took him to a park someplace and was having oral sex with the boy. And the boy went home and told his mama what took place. And she didn't. And the police were searching for his ass. He just loved these young boys. Just like R. Kelly loved these young girls. He loved them. That's all he wanted. He had a fetish. He only loves these young girls. So, I believe everything those women were saying. I believe everything. I believe everything they were saying. Every word. R. Kelly is a pedophile. And for those of you who are defending R. Kelly, something's wrong with you. If you see nothing wrong with a young man, an older man going after young teenage girls, something's wrong with you. The teenagers, you have to give them a pass. They don't know no better. They're teens. Their brains are not even functioning. They're not fully mature. Most teenagers and adults, their brains don't mature until they're 25 years of age. Why do we insist on attacking young teenagers who don't know any better? And all of y'all are saying, where are the parents? At home, not knowing where their teenage children are and what they're up to and what they're doing. Some of you all are saying the parents approve of this shit. I don't agree with that at all. Some of these parents just don't know. And there might be a few ignorant parents out there that are fine with this, taking their child being with an adult. But most mature adults, doesn't me go back to that, most mature, intelligent adults who have children would never allow their kids to be around. When I was growing up, only people I was around that was older than me were my family members. We weren't around no strangers. I most definitely didn't go to no parties at 12, 13, 14 years of age with a complete stranger I just met walking down the street in Cincinnati, Ohio. And hop in the car with a stranger and nip at a pool party. Cincinnati's a different city than Atlanta. There's a lot of shit going on in Atlanta that you have to protect your children from. Anybody living in a major urban city, that's why I have so great fun, I don't have no children. When you live in a major urban city around a lot of pedophiles, let's just keep it real, gay or straight, in the black community, you got a lot of men pursuing these young teenagers. Young women, young boys, they're pursuing them. It's just the reality of it all. Now, some people are going to attack me because of what I just said. But I've been around black folks all my fucking life. I've seen this enough as an adult to know a lot of black men love these young teenagers. And it also could be the same true of black women. They might be pursuing that. I don't know. I didn't really hang around that many black women to know. But I've heard stories from my friends about them being 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age and having sexual relationships with older women. I've heard these stories. And I'm sure it happens in the white community, but hey, that's the issues. I ain't white shit. I ain't got time to worry about that damn crap. Y'all figure it out on your own over there shit. I'm over here in Blackland. I'm over here in Niggerville trying to survive. So I can't worry about what white folks doing over there. I can imagine it does happen over there. But I know black folks. I know these black men. And I know what they like to do. And I know how they pursue these young teenagers. And these teens don't know any better. So people keep talking about these hot in the ass teenagers, they hot in the ass, they asking for it. They're young, immature, they're not adults. I didn't start making wise decisions until I was well into my 20s. I look back on some of the stuff I did in my early 20s, and I think, ooh, that was stupid on my behalf. Would never do that shit today. But you have to mature and grow up, and I didn't reach, I'll be honest with you, I really didn't mature enough to get past certain issues until I was into my late 20s. And you look back and say, oh, I can't believe I did that. I didn't do none of this crazy shit, some of the we're discussing here now. I had never pursued nobody under my age in my entire life. I mean, when I was 18 years of age, I wasn't going after no 12, 13, and 14, and 15, and 16-year-old teenagers. Why would I do that? I was sticking to people who were close to my age category. In some instances, I dated some that were a few years older than me, but never 10, 15 years older than me. Hell no. So, and it's disheartening to read the stuff that I see on social media where people are defending R. Kelly and attacking these folks, these girls. After all this evidence they presented in this series, people have the nerve to say they're attacking our black men. I don't give a shit about no fucking R. Kelly. I stopped listening to his music years ago. He ain't nobody but just an entertainer. But I find this series proved to me that he's a sexual predator of the worst type. Using his fame, money, and to go after these young girls to harm them. I have a problem with this. And anybody that's defending him and defending his actions, something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with you. If you can sit up and you see nothing wrong with what R. Kelly was doing, nothing wrong with these older men going after these young boys and girls, something's wrong with you. And I had a friend, he's deceased now. He was always with these young boys. Always in his car. And I was sitting and say, he'd always pull into my house, and I'd ask, well, who is this? And he'd drive off. They were young boys in his car. This man was older than me. And I never understood this. Why are you with these young boys? Whose child is this? Where did you pick this child up at? And you can clearly see they were young, and I'd go over to his house sometimes. I made the mistake of renting the house to him one time. I'd go there and collect that rent. And every time I went over, some young boys sitting over there playing video games. And I'd be like, well, what's going on here? Why are these young boys at your house? And he was constantly getting break-ins. Somebody breaking into, somebody broke in my house. Yeah, the young boy that you just had and stole in there, broke back in there and stole all your shit. So I've seen this repeatedly. I believe every word those girls were saying. That's how I met, one of my friends was pursuing these young boys, and he met some young boys that was fooling around with Eddie Long back in the 90s. I didn't even know who Eddie Long was. I lived out in Lithonia at a house I built out there, and he would come over to visit me, and I'd be like, well, who are these young boys in these expensive cars that would pull up to the house? And he'd be like, I'm going to talk to a friend of mine. And I'm like, well, who? That's one of Eddie Long's. He's staying, but that's Eddie Long's car. I didn't know who Eddie Long was. Shit, I didn't know nothing about this at this point. But at that point, Bishop Eddie Long, church had not became that huge. But I would look and say, what is going on here? You have to also remember I had my own life to deal with, my own issues and problems. I didn't have time to be policing people. I just banned people from my house. Okay, you can't come over here no more. You can't come over here because you don't get it. You're not going to have me sitting up behind bars because you done brought some young boy over to my house that should not have been here. I just banned him. Can't come over here. That was how I handled it. For those of you who are asking, why didn't you? I don't have time to be taking care. Look, I have my own issues to deal with. And I ain't saw nobody fucking any of these young folks. They were just together. They were just together. I didn't see them having sex. I didn't see nothing other than this young person was with someone way much older than them in a car vehicle at a party or something, and they should not have been there. In my opinion. That's just my thoughts. They should not have been there. But I stand by these young girls, these young adults who are now grown, who's coming forward and telling the story. It's sad that so many people are attacking them. And so many people are saying, well, these young folks, when they're in high school, they always had young. When I was in high school, I would see these, when I was in high school in Cincinnati, Ohio, I would see these girls leaving that school with grown men, in many instances the parents didn't know. In many instances, because I'm getting a little bit long here in this video, I'm just going to state this part of it. A lot of these young teenagers, these teenage girls and boys, they don't know no better. They don't know they're setting themselves up for disease. They don't know they're setting themselves up for failed pregnancies. They think that these people actually love them and want to be with them. They don't know you're just another number. That I listened to R. Kelly's wife talk about, and he was married to this woman, but he was having sex with two women in the basement of their home, and she didn't know this. I believe every word of it. I believe it. R. Kelly was sick. Is sick. And for those of you who continue to listen to his music and defend him, I question your intelligence. And defend him and say he's another black man being attacked. That black man ain't had no business pursuing these young folks and doing the shit that he did. I don't give a fuck what color his skin is. And the fact that he's black doesn't mean I have to stand by him because he's a black entertainer. Fuck him. He should be in prison. And he's probably going to end up in jail pretty soon because he's still... I'm sure the apple ain't fell too far from the tree. But anyway, it's a little bit longer than I wanted. As soon as the state get that out there, I stand by those young ladies. I believe them. I stopped supporting R. Kelly back in the 90s. Long time ago. I have not listened to any of his music. None of this stuff. Ever since I saw that video in 1997, I said something's wrong with this man. Then I heard the rumors about him marrying Aaliyah and all this other stuff. I remember all this stuff. Anyway, it's just my thoughts and opinions on this. I look forward to reading you all's thoughts and opinions. Today it is Sunday. It's Sunday, January the 6th, 2019. And it's just my thoughts about the surviving R. Kelly television show that's on Lifetime. Check it out. I look forward. I got to finish watching. I haven't seen all the rest of it. It was disturbing. I sat there watching it just disturbed. I didn't like it. And I don't like R. Kelly. Get out of here and enjoy your Sunday. I know I am. And I look forward to seeing you all later on. Have a good day.